until I got to a point where I understood it's actually my mindset. I might stop using the debit card, and go back to switching to use the hard cash, and I'll still make the same financial decisions. So when I realized this, I started slowly by slowly changing the mindset. And right now, I would literally go to a supermarket or our famous clothes store. Don't mention it like that.
Okay.
Don't
We know
mention
it.
it.
We
Our
know it.
famous clothes store. And I would, yeah, it has served us. I would window shop and I would leave that store without buying anything. Before we dive into this conversation, we would like to take this moment to express our sincere gratitude to all our viewers for subscribing to this channel and giving us the support we need, because it means the world to us.
And on to today's episode, we'll be having a conversations about matters finances. I know we all love finances.
Yeah, definitely.
Money matters. We need to know how to invest properly. We need to know how to budget properly. We need to know how to save and actually even make passive income.
Yes.
So stay tuned. So this is the episode for you. So I think we can begin with the basics of finances.
Yeah.
Or maybe
sure.
we can talk about money matters.
Yeah.
First of all, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Do you budget?
Right now I don't. Or I don't know. Maybe it will depend with your perspective on budgeting. But right now I basically go with the amount of money that I just use. Maybe I would say I budget for the constant bills, let's say rent, utilities, and just the general amount that I might use. But given the fact that I don't have a specific constant income that I have every month, it's a little bit hard for me to have a specific budget and a specific amount for every month.
I think that is still budgeting.
That's still budgeting.
It's still budgeting because you are talking about
Mhm.
if it is utilities, then you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to put aside some specific
yes,
amount of
very
money, and that is what budgeting is.
Wow. At least that's something, because I used to think, when probably you have a constant income, then you have specific ways you allocate your money. I thought that is actually budgeting. I didn't look at it from this other perspective.
And I think that is where maybe most people go wrong because it's not hard in my mind. It's not hard to budget. It's just that whatever you are doing, it's just that you don't have a term to call it.
Oh
but
it's actually
budgeting.
just a form of budgeting.
It's a form of budgeting.
How do you do yours?
Myself, budgeting. So I also do the same as well. I know if it is utilities, like those recurring
Expenses,
like rent, transport, food, utilities. Those are the main recurring expenses at this moment. And then aside from now that, despite my income not being constant, I know those ones have to be met. So every month it will be a different thing, but things like maybe groceries, rent, those are like fixed expenses. And then now, groceries can be a little bit variable.
Because every month it's
It can
kind of
be
different.
Yeah, and also depending on your goal for that specific month. But now there are other things like saving. Those are other things that for me I have made them to be like fixed expenses for me. So even if I do not put the same amount every specific month, I still have to put an amount there. It's just like in my mind, I know I have to put some amount in, maybe in my saving, in my emergency fund, and in my pension. So that those are the main things that I budget for.
Oh, and I would just like to know, I don't know for you, has this been like consistent for you for a while? Like, are these tips exactly what you've been using even before before we had this conversation? Because I've had you saying about your emergency fund and savings, and now putting aside like the normal utilities or recurring expenses. Is it something you've been doing for a long time, or it's just something you started before?
So
Pregnancy.
I was still back in Kenya because I was employed,
Yes.
and it was a fixed amount of income. So first of all, the pension was being paid by the employer, so
Oh,
you don't
wow.
have to put money aside
Yeah, for it.
for pension. That one is done. And then I also had, now back in Kenya, I had like a fixed what do we call this, a standing order. So instead of me saving for myself,
It
I
just
knew it deducts itself every fifth of the month. It deducts
wow.
itself from
Your
the
account.
account. Yeah. So I have to ensure that by every fifth of the month I have money in the account.
Mhm.
So that was, it was like it was, I was not myself doing it, but it was being done. Then now the other things,
Yeah.
rent, food.
Yes.
In Kenya, things because you know you can be able to get groceries that are cheaper.
Yeah.
Price
Yeah,
compared to
very
here.
true. Yeah,
It
very
was
true.
easier, but now here it is a little bit different. That is what I can say is a little bit different. But I, in my mind, I have been doing it. But what has been a problem for me over time is being able, because now things like saving, emergency fund, pension, those can be catered for.
Yeah.
But now being able to take care of my the recurring expenses and
Yeah.
managing through, and knowing that I have to use this specific amount of money every specific month,
Yeah.
then it has been a problem. But over time, it gets easier with time, and even not being able to stress myself so much.
Mm.
But now to curb that, I of late I've been having like a miscellaneous amount in my account, so
Wow.
such
Mhm.
that in case I overspend, I am still within the budget.
The budget.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I think that miscellaneous account
Has helped.
helped so much, for
Oh.
sure.
Even for me now, it's a little bit different because not different, almost the same, but let me just take you through because I remember I used to save also a lot, especially also back in Kenya because there's a period where I was employed and I would get this constant where I was having an internship. I was being paid, so I would get this constant income every month, and it was a little bit easier at that point because you're not fully independent yet. So at least you're still being sorted out when it comes to rent. So you're just looking at your food, and the rest of the money can be, yeah, you can save or you do something with it. But for me, I would save it. Actually, I would get my internship salary, and I would just send all the money, like just a specific amount of money directly to my savings account, like immediately, and then the balance now I would use for transport and now food. And given the fact that I would budget because I would put my transport and utility as transport and utilities, or let's say grocery money aside, and shop for the entire month. So it was a little bit easier to just save or to budget easily.
Yes.
But when it came to now a point that I was not receiving this constant income, when now I came out from now being employed to now, it's like hustling business,
Let's say self-employed. Let's not use
Okay,
the word hustling.
self-employed. But let
We
me
are
tell
not
you,
hustling.
let me tell you.
Hustling.
Okay, listen to my concept. I would say it's hustling because the mindset you're adopting is not a mindset for it's not an easy mindset. It's that mindset where you're like, I know I have this degree. I know maybe I want to sit in the office, or I know I have this, but I have to start small, or there's a whole lot of mindset change or a different mindset when it comes to a hustle. That's why sometimes for me, I'm just always okay with using it as a hustler, because I remember even there's someone he would say, like, he would see his post and he was like, the heart of a king, but the mind of a hustler. And you would see how he would really grind, because it is not easy in the business world or in entrepreneurship or in self-employment. You just don't start today and reap tomorrow or after 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I know you've walked the path.
Yeah, but back to the hustling and self-employment, the reason why I normally have a problem with this word hustling, it's because it's like it puts me in a specific cocoon. So it's like because you see, when you say I'm self-employed, and I was actually listening to somebody who was saying that self-employment and entrepreneurship, those are two different things, which for sure we are agree when agree. Sure. But now the word hustling for me in my mind is like I know I have to be grinding, but it's like in my mind I'm a hustler, and it's the word hustler for me in my mind is so belittling, such that I don't want to have that specific ideology of myself in my mind.
Oh, I totally understand, because I think given the fact that even in society that's what for a long time it has been attached to. If you're a hustler, it means you're maybe struggling, a lot, Yeah, but in real sense, it is not. It's just being able to grind and rise above the struggles that come with that situation.
Isn't it self-employed? Being self-employed.
At this point, I think let's use what works for each of us.
For sure.
Yeah. So when I went to this other side, it became a little bit hard to now budget, because you're not getting, not too hard to budget. Going back to what you said, it's still budgeting, but let's say my budgeting changed. It stopped being just a predictable thing from my constant income to actually looking at now what bills I have, and probably not even what amount of money I have, because sometimes you'll have more, sometimes you'll have less, sometimes you'll have none. You understand? So just looking at what are the basics and things that you can really sort them out using whatever you have, and not planning for money that you've not received yet. Even if it's a profit or some money you're expecting and it's not yet there, you wouldn't plan for it. It's not like salary, you would plan for it and know at the end of the month you'll get it. Yeah. So I think that's how my budgeting has changed over the years. And I saw the way you said, I don't know, having miscellaneous sections in your budget have really helped you. For me, I'm yet to incorporate that. And that is what I think sometimes wastes my money a lot, because you're like, something just came up. I need to sort it out. It wasn't planned, but I did not budget it. And probably it can't, some can stay, but there's some things that you cannot postpone them to a later date. Yeah. And I don't know what you, just in relation to what I'm saying, how do you go about when now you have an overwhelming budget, and probably you cannot stay within your budget, or you're just finding it hard to stay within your budget? It can be maybe as a result of maybe the things you want to achieve. Maybe they are good things, investments and the likes, or maybe just having fun shopping and I see some clothes on Temu.
Temu, here we come.
Temu. And I see that and I see the cloth there and she just orders it. Like, how do you deal with such?
Now for me, having, first of all, sorting my 3 main accounts first, and then knowing that whatever else remains is what I can be able to work with. And actually having a specific, like now for the 3 main accounts for me are now the savings, pension, and the emergency fund. So, saving, emergency fund, and the pension. So if I know that all those are okay, and I have already sorted them out, and it is not easy for me to access that money, then any other thing that I am remaining with, then it is me to make a wise decision. So if I'm supposed to maybe purchase something on Temu,
Yeah.
and I know maybe I'm working with, let me say, 20,000 forints.
Yeah.
If I'm working with 20,000 forints,
Yeah.
and I know maybe my groceries are like approximately 10,000 forints a month,
Mm-hmm.
and I need maybe a clothes worth 2,000
Yeah.
forints. So I'm like, is it worth it using the 2,000?
Yeah.
Or, and that is maybe at the beginning of the month,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe like mid-month,
Yeah.
and maybe suffering later on.
Mm.
So for me, the question that I normally ask myself is it really worth it for me right now? And can I be able to wait? Is it okay for me to wait? And is there anything else that will be stopped even if I do not make that payment? But I understand there are some things like maybe a family member being sick. Those are
Yes.
things that you cannot be able
Postpone
to
them.
postpone.
Yeah.
Now such things, uh, I sort them. And then the rest we will deal with it,
Yeah,
because
later.
already, if it is rent, it is like the basics are sorted.
Yeah,
My
true.
savings are sorted. So whatever else I'm remaining with is something that I can always bargain with, and that is why the miscellaneous has helped me so much. Because anything else that I remain with is, I just weigh, is it very important right now? Is maybe when the house burned down, if I do not
You like sort
purchase,
it out.
sort it out, yeah. So I just do that, and I think just having this miscellaneous
Yeah.
is the best idea in terms of my finances, aside from now the investing. Something else that has worked for me as well is because I know I have like an annual goal.
Yeah.
So this annual goal is what I work with. I now break it down per month to see whether I am still on track in terms of whatever that I want to do, maybe if it is investing, whether I am on track or not.
Okay.
So if maybe at some point I feel like I am not on track in
Yes.
terms of my annual goal, then I need to do something else. I need to change my way of handling my finances. Yes. So, and I think just not having being open-minded and having this abundance mindset that
Yeah.
money will always come to
you.
me. I do not have to always suffer to look for money. I think also that is something else that maybe we can talk about some other day. But yeah, I think that is what has worked for me.
Oh wow, that's I think the miscellaneous bit of the budgeting. That's something I'm going to adopt in now my budget, because it's something I've not been practicing, and just recently now, apart from savings, and I think I've consulted you a lot on finances. Just recently I decided to now also start like putting on other investments, let's say, other than just saving it in a fixed deposit account or just a normal current account. I decided to also put some money aside, and I think initially what used to stress me is the things that actually come up through the month, because sometimes they're not really, they're not important to be
as
sorted
such,
out,
yeah.
but I think the fear of missing out just makes you do or try to sort them out immediately, because you're like, there's this money in my hands, I can actually sort this out. But over time, I've slowly and slowly changed the mindset towards to a different thing. Initially, I would just purchase it or sort it out. Maybe see a good cloth, see something nice, or anything that is not maybe of urgency.
Yes.
I would just do it, or I purchase it because I'm like, I have this money.
I have it either way.
I have it here, and I remember initially, and I've complained so much to you. Initially, I would just say, I don't know where my money is going, and I think the problem is this having this money in the debit card, because I know I can swipe it anytime.
And it's easy when you're swiping. It's not even painful when
It's
you're
not
swiping.
painful, but when
when
you're giving cash, you're like, oh, what remained in my wallet? Maybe I don't have the money. And for a long time, I kept complaining. It might be the using, like me using the debit cards, until I got to a point where I understood it's actually my mindset. I might stop using the debit card and go back to switching to use the hard cash, and I'll still make the same financial decisions.
Sure.
So when I realized this, I started slowly by slowly changing the mindset. And right now, I would literally go to a supermarket or our famous clothes store. Don't mention it, Ella.
Okay.
Don't
We know
mention
it.
it.
We know
Our
it.
famous clothes store.
Has
And
really saved us.
I would, yeah, it has served us. I would window shop and I would leave that store without buying anything. If I had not planned to get something, I wouldn't buy it, even if I have the money.
And I think I can commend you on that.
Please,
you are doing well.
You should take me out for dinner, not just clapping hands.
You are doing well.
I am, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is something that has really changed over time. So I think right now I would say if you're not able to stay within your budget, try and identify what exactly is making you not stay within your budget. For me, it's not even like I'm not staying within my budget, but yes, you have that budget, you've sorted out things, but that extra money, you're just wasting it. You're not putting it into something constructive, and it feels bad. It feels good when maybe at the end of the month or after getting money, analyzing it and realize, maybe I'm only remaining with 1,000 foreign, but where has this money gone to? Maybe it has gone to this account, it's being invested here. But it's so painful when you don't have the money in the account, and when you're looking at the places it's gone to, there's nothing to come back. It's very painful. So like that is what I've changed with time. So I think when you're feeling like you're not staying within the budget, try and look at what situation is making you do that. Maybe it's debt, or maybe it's just having that wrong financial behaviors or tendencies to purchase stuff, or just those financial mistakes we make. Look at it, then try and change the mindset. Not overnight, just slowly by slowly. Try to change that mindset. And I think if you change that mindset from within, you can now be able to overcome this challenge of going overboard with your budget and stuff, and also not sorting out issues immediately. I normally think if it would have come and probably I had no money, it would still have waited.
For sure.
It would still have waited because it's not an emergency. I have food, I've settled the rent, I've settled other bills, or maybe the investments that are priority in my list. If it would have come, I wouldn't have sorted it if I didn't have money. So I normally put that into my mind and just decide if it's not so urgent, I won't do it. And for the family, I always try as much as possible to plan, even if it's not immediately. Maybe within the month, I'll try and sort it out.
When you're speaking, I've been following Saintonomy. I don't know if you know Saintonomy.
I know, I've just heard of the name, but I'm not very well versed with them.
It's like they give trainings to people, both individuals as well as business people, on how to manage their finances. So there was this one that I attended. You can actually check it online. Sometimes they give free courses. So me, I attended the free courses, but
I think I will.
the paid courses that they also now teach you like in depth now when it comes to even your mindset about money, how to change that, and how to just distribute your money accordingly, even if you're as a business person. So how they were teaching us about how to be able to know where our money goes. They were telling us, now in that period they told us to write down every day of the month, at least like just do a month, like just take a bet on yourself and do like a month, and write down literally the income, and like maybe at the beginning of the month write down how much you have in your account, and then bit by bit write every expense. Even if you buy something for 100 foreigns, write it down, and then get to see where your money goes. Because now you see it begins by knowing where your money goes. Then now how can you be able to remove all those things that are those bad financial behaviors.
Behaviors.
So yeah, so you had to write every day, write down. If at least you were at home and you didn't buy anything lucky for you,
Yeah.
you don't have to write down on that day.
Mhm.
But write down, even if you purchased socks of 200
Yeah,
for it,
true.
write it down. If you invested 3,000, write it down. At the end of the month, you could see that most of, actually, for me, that specific month, I saw that most of my money was going in food. And it is not food that.
And yeah, I once mentioned it. I wanted to call you another name to tag you, but continue.
But I'm working out to get rid.
I'm not first. I wanted to say either the
Okay,
the
you are
cook,
not. You
either the cook, yeah.
And it was not actually like cooking. It was take out, or maybe you have a meeting with friends. You go. And actually, I realized like that specific month had like 3 hangouts with friends every like consecutively every weekend. And we were spending a lot of money. You see, when you are with ladies, you want to go to the posh areas. But like the second month now, that was the first month. The second month, because now I knew my money was going into food. Now I had to reduce that. So even when we are coming up with ideas where we are going with the ladies, then I had to be very careful that I know I have to be able not to pass this. So like I had a threshold of the amount of money that I need to spend on on takeouts and food. So the second month, because I was still in Kenya, I had saved like I think 7,000 on food from food, because now most of the time I kept on, because now you see there is that motivation when you are in a group of people and you learn this thing and you are doing it
in a group.
So like I actually saved 7,000 and I saved it. And I sent it to my. I was so happy. I was so happy.
That's a big motivation, actually.
Yeah, and then now subsequently, I don't know why I stopped that. I think I need to go back to it.
Yeah, you can go back to it.
Yeah.
And as you were speaking, it just reminded me of this app. You see, as I was trying to, the way I was telling you, I don't know where my money goes. You look at your transaction or your bank statements at the end of the month, and you're like, where did this money go? You know, I started using this app. It's called Money Lover. I had it from another training, a business training 1 year ago. And in my goals, I had written it down. This year, I'm starting to use this app.
1 year ago.
1 year ago. And let me tell you, I downloaded the app and I never used it for the entire year. I didn't even open it, But now this year, I think when you just don't feel like doing something or you're not committed to do something, you'll always find excuses not to do it. But when I started changing my mindset towards money, and then I decided that I actually want to know where this money is going to, and I'm going to record where this money is going. So as you're saying, the way you write down, I think writing down is very good because it also helps you remember. It sticks in the mind. But for this app, it has all those categories. It has the day, it has a budget section, it has where you record your expenses, your income. So if it's salary coming in or money from a transfer or from any other place, it has that category. It has all the other categories when it comes to expenses, maybe investing, rent, food, personal items, outings. I think we will share the link. You guys can go check it out. It's not a paid promotion. It's just something that I've been using for the past 3 months and has worked. And I think that's what has enabled me also to find money that I can actually send to other investments. Because initially I was like, I'm getting this money back. I'm not remaining with any money to send to any other place.
You have money, but you don't have.
money. Until I recorded, and as you've said, even if I spend 100 forints or 200 forints, that day I will record it. This is the amount I've spent today, and after doing that recording, it will go into. I select the category, and it will go into the list. and for incomes, if I got any income that day, I can put it there, and so it would show you the total income you have, the expenses you have until that time, and even has a full report, and it would give you in a chart maybe this amount, this 38% you used on rent or food, 20% maybe used on
Oh.
investment, 50 on this and this. So it's something that has really worked. And
Yeah.
given the fact that you are an online person and you love things soft copy,
Yes.
it's something I would recommend to you, and you can try it out since you're going to go back to that behavior, I suppose.
Especially because now managing the recurrent, you see these
Yeah,
are
the
like
recurrent.
operational expenses that normally happen on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And you can think like that 200 forints today is not even a lot, but 200 forints 5 times in a week, that is
It is,
1,000
yeah,
forints.
it is
you
a
know?
lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's something we would put on the description, and people can go check out. And it has really enabled me to know. And until I normally remain with a lot of money to actually send in different things, something that I never used to have, and it's a very good thing. And now, like talking about investments, I don't know which are the investments that have worked for you over the last few years. If you just probably explain to our viewers.
Mm. Okay, I know I have made bad investment decisions, but I'm glad they were for learning.
Yeah, it's a point of learning, at least one step closer to the good ones.
Yeah, but for me, first of all, how I view investment
Mhm.
is something that will make me more money and
Mhm.
make me not work. Okay, make me not be actively invested in that specific thing.
Wow.
And my goal for investment mostly is, guess what is it?
Having passive income generating investments. I
Exactly,
guess.
exactly. So for me, the kind of investments that I do are mostly to give me the passive income.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not only looking at the current state where I am,
Yeah.
but if I can invest maybe in an online course right now,
Mhm.
understand whatever that I need to do and put in the work
Yes.
just for the future. That is also an
An
investment
investment you're doing to
for
yourself.
myself. Yeah. So number one,
Mm.
I can say online courses, online courses
Mhm.
for my skills that I know I have,
Mhm.
or like being able to grow myself in my purpose,
Yes.
and being able to give that service to other people,
Wow.
and be able to make money from that specific skill that I have learned.
Mhm.
Because you see, we have talents, we
Yes.
have things that are inherent within us, that we think, the fact that they are inherent, then
Yeah.
it will not be easy, it will not be hard
Hard
to
yes.
make money out of it. But even if you're not cultivating that specific talent, then you will not be able to make money from it, or as much as you think you can be able to make money for it.
And I think also just strategy comes with also talent. If you're not strategic on how you're also approaching your target audience or your market, you might as well lose even or never earn from it.
Yeah. And even the management bit
Yes.
of the whatever that you want to do. So for me, number one has been the investing in my mind now, how to be able to help, even if it is not helping me right now,
Yes.
or maybe it is not out in the public yet, but I know at some time later in the future it will be out and it will be helping me make financial I'll be having passive income out of it.
Wow.
So that is number one. Number two, now something that I know people want money. I'm just speaking like we need money in our pockets, but something that I have used, I think, for the past like 6-7 years, is money market fund. And I think these days money market fund is everywhere.
It's everywhere, yes.
And most people are talking about it. If you don't know money market fund is money market is a platform where you give your money to a fund manager. That fund manager invests that money for you. But you see, this fund manager is getting money from other different people. So you just give them maybe your 2,000, your 3,000, and then they pull all those funds from these many different people, and then they can be able to invest either in now this bigger investment, be it real estate or maybe bonds, and then you get interest at the end of the month. So that is how money market works.
Mm.
And then now the the passive income bit of it is the interest that you gain from being a member of that portfolio.
Yeah.
So you get money every specific month, and depending on whichever fund manager that you invest in, there are different investors that give different interest rates. So it is your it is your portion to do the due diligence
Yeah,
on
yeah.
whichever, because the goal is to have a higher
Yeah.
interest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, money market fund I can say,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I said I have made bad investment decisions is because I
Yeah.
invested in forex. You know,
Mhm.
forex is an investment actually.
Yeah, yeah,
It is an investment. So I invested in forex, and I made a very bad decision because I at first I was like I wanted to understand what is going on in this
Yeah.
forex, and I don't know, there was, I think after fourth year of campus, everyone was trading in forex, and me, I wanted to see what is this thing. I don't want to
You miss out.
yeah, and then now in the process of learning everything, I understood there was you don't have to trade alone.
Mm-hmm.
AI can trade for you.
Yeah.
So I decided to go in with AI, but I did not have the idea on how to be able to trade myself.
Okay.
I had actually started learning the how to trade,
The
but
tips at least.
yeah, but it was slow. It was
Mm.
slow. It was bringing profits slowly because I have to learn. I invest my
Yeah.
time, and then later on start making
And you
money.
want money.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And you see at that time, your mind just wants the money.
Yeah,
It's
very
not
true.
even focused on learning or the process.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, so I invested in the I invested like 30,000 Kenya shillings, and actually the first month it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
The first month it got me to like 40,000 or like
Mhm.
50,000 because we invest in dollars. So
Yeah.
you invest 200, and I invested, my investment was $250.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that specific month,
Yeah.
I was at 400, and I think like $430.
Wow.
So that was, at that time it was like 47,000, almost
Yeah,
50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenya shillings. So I invested in that. The first month it was good, and then now when you see your account has money, you want to continue leaving it there, and
Yeah.
So I decided, let it stay there
Mm-hmm.
for another 1 month. If
Mhm.
it's giving me profit this early enough, so let me, if because if you put more, the more you put, the higher
The chance.
the risk or the return.
Wow. But anyway, they're still connected. If the risk is higher, the probability of the return is also higher.
Yes.
But also the loss is also big.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. You either you win big or you lose big.
you lose big.
So the second month in,
Mm.
I just went to open my account. It was still okay the first week, second week, third week. I went to open my account and it was negative. That I couldn't even believe. And now you see the thing with forex is that if it has gone to the negative, you can't go back to the positive.
Oh wow.
So if maybe you are at positive $400, you can either go to 300,000, positive 300,000, or positive $500.
Mm-hmm.
But now if it is in the negative,
It remains.
you can't go to zero. You can't go to 1, 2, 3, 400. You either put more investment amount there, or it remains there. So that day I just saw the amount was negative. I couldn't even believe anything.
Oh no.
But I learned from there. I learned that I need to first of all understand what I am investing into, and then I can be able to invest into it. Otherwise, then it was a bad financial decision.
But
at
you
the
learned.
same time, I learned. Yes.
I think that's the most important thing. Sometimes we beat ourselves so much, and in real sense, we just need to look at the failure as an opportunity for learning. So you probably can do way better later, because you would hear most of these successful people say they've failed like so many times. Whatever people are seeing out here, you're seeing this polished, rich, like well kept person, but you really don't know what was going on behind the scenes.
It's a lot.
For years, you don't know how many times they failed. But at least now that we are young, we can fail fast and learn from it fast. At least, we have all these information right now. For them, probably they were really struggling because they don't have the information or people who have been within, within this specific situation. But for us now, we can access this information using technology actually,
Yeah.
and we reduce the time of failing or also the rate of failure. So we fail fast and learn fast and move on to the next.
Yeah, and even like seeing other people, like
Yes.
listening to other people's experiences
Yeah.
as well.
Mm.
Now, you listening to us
Yes.
is like an opportunity for you to learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
We are here saying do not make any investment decision before knowing all the nitty gritties of that investment
Yeah.
decision.
Do your market research, and if you have maybe a financial mentor or a mentor, someone who has gone through the journey maybe of investment, or someone who is well versed with these
Yes.
investment options, you can talk to them,
Yeah.
have their perspective, because they're in a better position. They say experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
So these people are already experienced in that field. Even if you get some information from them and still fail, you're not going to fail as much as you would have going into something blindly. You at
Yes.
least have some light,
Yes.
even if you're going to fail, and learn from it.
And you don't have to failure. You can learn from other people's failures, learn
Yeah.
from other people's failures, and then don't make the same mistakes
The same
that they
mistakes,
did. Yeah, it's better to make a different
A different mistake, yeah.
than making the same mistake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think in relation to saving, I would say for me, I've not explored so many saving options. I would say it's mostly just been saving using the fixed deposit accounts. So you just have this fixed deposit account. You open it with your bank, and every month you would send a specific amount of um, money, or maybe that of different types, and then those which also allow you to maybe withdraw once a month or once in 6 months. So having such a thing, that's where I've been doing my savings a lot. And then recently I've also started using money market funds. Eda. By the way, she's my financial mentor. Yeah, she's a friend and a peer financial mentor. So yeah, I learned so much from her, especially when it comes to financial matters. And I started investing in this, and I've also one of my goals is now to invest in rates. This is also the same thing as money market funds,
Somewhat, but in real estate.
but in real estate, because now in rates, what it means, it's basically you also give your money to a fund manager.
Yeah.
They're called real estate investment trusts. So you give your money to them, and they have a pool of funds, but their investment is focused on real estate. Specifically real estate. That's why they're called rates.
Yeah.
Specifically real estate. So this is something that I'm also planning to do, and I've already engaged a specific real estate rates in Kenya, and I think it's a good thing, because if I see my mindset when it comes to investment has been changing, and I think that's the reason as to why I was focusing so much on
The bank.
the bank, because initially growing up, the kind of investments I've been seeing in society, and also let's say my parents, basically it's real estate. Get a plot or get some rentals, build, have some income from the rentals. You see, that's the kind of mindset I've grown up knowing,
Which is a good one.
which is a very good one.
Yeah.
For me, real estate is so close to my heart,
Sure.
and it's something that I'm definitely going to invest in. But I would say initially I was a bit rigid, because I was like, other than just the normal businesses I'm trying to run or trying to build up on the side, when I get the money, I would want to get a property. But now you see, by the time I'm getting maybe 4 million, 5 million, it's not instant. Maybe you still have to build yourself maybe to a point where you are now in a position to afford. Because at this moment, I'm not in a position to get that money and get a property. But that was my initial idea of an investment. I need to do a property right now fast, and then I can do every other thing. Like that was at the forefront of my mind. But when I came across these rates. In school, they would teach us because I have a bachelor's degree in real estate. So they would teach us these things, but you're not curious enough to know exactly what are these,
Just
other
want
than
to
just in
pass.
the class. You just want to pass and move on to the next. You don't want to know what are these, how they work, are they helpful, but recently, I realized, wait, I can still own a portion of real estate without actually having the 2 million. Maybe just deposit the 5,000 monthly.
And I think eventually you get the a property, or you
No,
become
no,
the
no, no,
owner.
no. It's that's a different one. In this case, you just like the same thing as money markets. Your money, let's say the 2,000, with the other pool of funds, it's being invested in a real property,
So
and then you just earn interests from it. But I was listening to this CEO of this company. I think it's VUCA Investments. Yeah, it's a rate for connected to, which is this Kwetu hostels. I'm so sure you're very familiar with Kwetu hostels in Kenya.
Which was like the theme when I was finishing
Yeah,
campus.
also, yeah, it was a thing, and I think you Strathmore guys were always like Kwetu. Like these are very posh and nice hostels, private hostels in Kenya, and I feel like they're actually on demand in Kenya. So yeah, they invest in this. So it's like you're having a share of a property without really owning the entire building. So it's like you're co-owning or co-sharing with so many people because of the small contributions you're making. But I think we're going to do a video with detailed analysis of these investments, and we're going to give you these options or better information so that you can also assess that. For now, you can also just go and search. These are very good investment options, and the good thing is that you can start small. You don't have to have the 1 million, the 20,000. You can start with 3,000, 5,000, 2,000, and just slowly increase your fund portfolio within such projects. And I think it's a very good thing. So for me, that is how also my mindset has changed, and it's something that I've invested. So I would say fixed deposit accounts, money markets, and now rates. Yes.
Also, something that I forgot to mention is people investing in their future.
Oh,
And that is why I started investing in pension very early. I was working in a company where, yes, they would provide pension because it was like 3% provided by the employer and then 3% provided by the employee.
Yes.
So at least you have some pension amount forward for your retirement. And then now you see when you leave employment, it's very easy to just not continue paying that.
Yes, very
and,
true.
and actually when I left now, that place is where now I said instead of taking this money or that money just being in that account, why don't I continue paying for myself?
Wow.
Because either way, I am saving for my future self.
Yes.
And when maybe the later period when I want this money, I can be able to get it, maybe do something with it,
Wow. Yeah.
And I am still young and I'm still making. Definitely, I will continue making more money.
Yes.
So not like I'm starving myself.
Yeah.
But I am saving
up
up
for your future, which is a very important thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really nice. And in relation to that, do you have like any personal advice you would give to someone who is starting up investing? Because I believe for so many people, let me speak for me, and I believe that people who maybe would resonate with this. You have this mindset, investment. For you to start investment, you actually have to have a lot of money.
I think that's a myth. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a myth. So Do you have like any personal advice to such a person who wants to start investing but they have this kind of mindset? Probably they really need to have the bigger money. What would you tell them?
I think that small, that thing that you're, that amount of money that you're calling small, it's actually not small.
Mm.
If you put in places like now the money market,
Mhm.
the rates that we are talking about,
Yeah.
eventually there is something called compound interest.
Mhm.
Compound interest is when the money that you put there earns interest, and the principal amount plus the interest
Mhm.
earns more interest.
Yeah.
So it's like interest on interest.
Mhm.
That is what compound interest is. So if you have that 2,000 somewhere
Mhm.
and you don't know how to grow that money, if you put
Mhm.
that money in, let's say, money market fund,
Mhm.
and maybe that specific fund is giving maybe like 10%, that is like 20, maybe in the first month, but now you see this money will continue growing.
Growing, yes.
It is now from 2000 to now 2020.
Mhm.
Where would you have removed this 20? You would not have just collected that
Yes.
money from the ground. And you see, so I think being patient, let's learn the virtue of patience in our investment journey, and let's learn to do due diligence when it comes to whatever that we are investing in, and don't see your small money as small. And that is why I have a problem with the term hustling.
Please, please leave that term.
It begins, for me, it begins in my mind. So whatever I feed my mind, definitely that is how I am going to show up in the world.
That's very true. I think for you need to just use that
Self-employment,
Yeah, so
and
as to
eventually
motivate
entrepreneurship. Because now
Yeah.
self-employment and entrepreneurship are now again a different thing.
But
So-
they're interconnected.
Yeah, so I think start doing something with that 2,000.
Mhm.
You lying there in bed and just telling yourself that
It is small.
it is small, it is not healthy. So how do we need, what is the next step that we need to do in order to grow this 2,000? If you think maybe you have a business idea, selling clothes, selling decorations, you can do that and grow that money.
Yeah.
That is the product.
Mhm.
That is the product side of business. You can have a skill,
Yeah.
be able to market yourself online, get clients online, and be able to provide that as a service. And you can still be able to put also in these other passive income that we are talking
strategies,
about. Yeah, money market rates, the fixed deposit account. Such things. Even actually, the retirement provides interest as well. So
sure.
such things, like we have all this information. Let's use the internet as something to build us up, and not something to use just for entertainment.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't agree less, because that's also the same thing I think I would tell people. Just start with the amount you have. And right now we have technology. You can literally go and research how to start investing with 200 shillings.
Yeah,
It's going to give you options, but also be keen on the context. I wouldn't context or scope, your scope of research. Try to be specific. How can I invest in maybe this, maybe in clothes, or in food, or in this service with 200 shillings? You will have so many options from it, and with this you can help yourself grow. So just start, do your research, don't be afraid of learning. Use technology to your advantage. You can learn so much from the internet, and just go ahead and implement. Because at the end of it all, you can learn all you want. You can plan, plan and be in motion for the entire time. But if you don't act, nothing is gonna come out of it. We'll have a detailed episode of all these investments, and hopefully get an expert to also explain to us, so that we can have more information for you.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Thank you so much.